Joined now in the studio by Thomas Haley, a friend of Didier Francois and a photojournalist. Thank you very much for coming in with us this Sunday. Now, you knew Didier when you saw him coming off the helicopter earlier this Sunday morning. What were your first impressions? How did he appear to you?
Well, he looked good and spry and enthusiastic, and it was a very moving moment to see all of them finally back in freedom. I was sorry that he shaved his beard from last night.
Yes, it's true. It's a bit of an appearance change than when we last saw him. He's come across a bit of the leader, if you will, of this group of 4 men that spent 2 months in captivity. Does that surprise you at all?
Well, no, because I think he's the oldest of the 4. He's had more experience in the terrain, and I think it would just be normal that the others recognize in Didier somebody of experience, and he's covered a lot of conflict, and so I certainly would have been looking up to him also, and I'm younger, I'm older. Sorry.
Let's take a listen to Didier when he spoke earlier this morning upon arriving at the French airbase here in southwest of Paris. Let's take a listen.
We never had any doubt because we would hear bits of information from time to time. We knew everyone was engaged, especially the government. We're lucky to be French. The diplomats, the agents, the intelligence agents, they did a wonderful job. They were very discreet, working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get us out of there. And they did it. When we were finally free, there was something else that touched us. It was to see the level of engagement. We discovered it on the internet yesterday. It was this wave of solidarity, this generosity among the French, generosity for their journalists, their fellow citizens who'd been taken hostage abroad.
Now, Thomas, we heard Didier speaking there of the generosity for the French, for their journalists. Let's talk about journalism now as a whole. We heard the French president calling for the necessity of journalism and covering difficult risk areas like Syria. In your opinion, has things changed? Have things changed over the past years in terms of the risk and the nature of journalism and war reporting?
Yes, for me, what used to be, I thought, was the basic rule, which was that if you were going to cover a particular movement or uprising, belligerents on either side, as a journalist, as a foreign journalist, you wanted to know the story, and they understood this, and they understood the value of having an outsider coming to, and especially somebody who had access to the foreign or international media. I mean, this is very important for communication. Today I'm not so sure, but it used to be considered that everybody wanted to communicate at some point what was their issues. So the basic rule was you don't mess with the journalist. I mean, you take care of him, you make sure that he comes into the zone and leaves safe and sound, so that your message can be communicated.
So that's changed in your opinion?
And that's, for me, this is one of the major changes in the business in the last 10 years or so. Hostages, journalists were taken hostage before, but to me, it seems today that there's just, you see a Western journalist in the Middle East or in some African countries in a conflict situation where there's no established order. I mean, there's kind of anarchy, and we've become targets ourselves in a way.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's the nature of these specific conflicts. I think it's also in the case, for example, in Syria, you're dealing with jihadists who have an idea about what they want to install, and so they're not really, maybe it's not important to them to compose or to communicate with the West, who for them is probably somebody that's not worth communicating with. So, it's, in that sense, we no longer have that value to them. It's...
All right, well, I'm afraid we have run out of time, but thank you very much for coming in and giving us your thoughts, of course, on Didier Francois and his return, as well as the 3 other hostages, former hostages, now we can say. Thank you very much for coming in, Thomas. Thank you.
Okay.